Welcome to Medical Confessions.
Your remedy for serious medicine. I'm Jen.
I'm April.
And I'm Scott. Today we're going to be talking about apple cider vinegar, and all the fancy medical things that people are touting that'll do for you.
Before we get into this, though, I feel like we have to visit one of our last episodes because I feel like there was so much that took place in the aftermath that, in fact, John H. commented on it already and wanted to know. First of all, apparently he liked to see you slowly die, which is awesome because April and I did too.
Which episode are we talking about?
Hypothermia.
Hypothermia.
Yeah. And
I was slowly dying.
Yeah, well, and he obviously got the
dying.
same kick out of it that April and I did because it was funny watching you go through this process, you know, and like seeing you go from, you know, great to like the shell of a man. But he was specifically interested in like, how did you get out of the tub and
carefully,
right? And then also what happened in the recovery process, which is where I think we probably all saw the most significant like reaction or how you truly reacted to it. In this studio, it seemed pretty controlled and everything, but then after we tried to warm you, it was a little bit more unnerving, I think, than we thought it was going to be. So,
well, I've never full-on shivered like this in a hot tub before, like sitting in a hot tub just shivering cold. That was weird.
Well, first we tried to get you out of the tub, and it was not pretty.
Well, I was cramped. I couldn't feel my legs, so when you put pressure on it, it's like your limbs asleep. You can't, I mean, you feel it, but you don't really have control. It was kind of weird.
I felt like it was almost like the birthing video of like a newborn calf or something. Like you were very like useless, you know.
Looked all wet and slimy and gross and
sad. And you had a loved one in the studio, and so she kind of witnessed it. And I think that made her a little uncomfortable. Like, wow, he's legitimately.
She said afterwards that she was very nervous. She wanted it to end sooner than it did.
Yeah, and April and I kept things moving. Well, then we moved you down to a nice warm hot tub about 102 degrees and placed you in there.
That's painful.
Yeah.
You don't go straight from cold ice water to hot tub without it hurting quite a bit. I stepped in and had to step right back out for a few minutes.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that we probably had you in there for like a good 20-30 minutes before we felt like your temperature had gotten up to a
point where you could leave me alone,
right?
Yeah,
96 is when we let you get out. You kept saying, "I feel great. I feel awesome."
Well, compared to sitting in a bucket of ice, he probably did feel awesome, but I don't think you were normal yet.
Just that 3 degrees.
Well, and it was interesting. The temperature kept going down. Even after I got out of the.
That's right. So once we got you into the tub, I think we were down in the low 94s, right? By the last temp that we checked. So that was several minutes after we left the studio. You were still.
You guys are trying to kill me. That's what was happening.
So that we could inherit all this.
So that all
ours. No, it was just like it was a really interesting, you know, scenario, and it was kind of like we talk about warming patients and what happens in the aftermath. That one was just kind of it took a while. And then how did you feel the rest of the day?
Once I got out of the hot tub and then put my jacket on, I was okay. But I didn't take my jacket off for several hours, I think.
And it was a warm fall day. Like it was to the rest of us like comfortable outside in a t-shirt.
And the only thing that really shocked me, everything was kind of normal, like your legs are numb, can't move your fingers, the breathing. Like, I felt short of breath the last 15, 20 minutes, and I've never really felt short of breath just sitting there before.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Well, with our hypothermia episode, and then we've got a couple more that are now in the works, it's kind of exciting that we're back into our normal routine. So releasing a new episode every month. We're this close to having our podcast up and running. But what I'm most excited about is our viewers that watch us regularly. I'm excited to hear some of the comments that Sunny in Santa Monica and the Fox.
Fox.
They've always got really good things to say, and then it provokes good conversation for us when we're prepping for an episode. So I'm kind of interested in what they think of some of the new episodes. In fact, I would like to encourage those that regularly view that maybe if they have ideas, we've got some like planned, but I'd love it if something pops up new that maybe someone that watches us regularly
Yeah, what
honest.
medically would you like to see these ladies do?
Oh,
right?
research. But seriously, I think that other people have, different unique experiences. Maybe they can suggest episodes for us, and that would be fun to actually fulfill one of our regulars' thoughts. Oh, that could maybe be scary. I don't know, but that'll be fun.
Yeah, so comment. Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know what you'd like to see, because they would love to do that.
We might have, after watching the aftermath, we might have to take one for the team.
I was actually the thing I was super impressed about was the fact that you had the willpower to stay in the tub.
Well,
I don't know if I could have done
I wouldn't have, I know that.
I do know that pretty much just friends and family watch this, and I didn't want to be like, the
wimpy guy.
I'm the loser who couldn't make it, and it's just people I know, so they'll be, you're kind of a pansy, dude.
Right.
And,
Right. Well, and what
ego is keeping me going, I guess.
Totally. Well, and I can't stand cold, and I probably wouldn't have been able to tough it out. But what our viewers may or may not know is we're all on different forms of diets right now, additionally, that we're doing for a full month for one of our future episodes. So we're all in different levels of discomfort and frustration. But I don't know if doing this diet I'm on for one full month, if I would pass this up to just sit in that tub of ice water for 45 minutes.
I would pass that. I would do the hypothermia again versus
over
this
the diet.
Yeah, this diet is
so
brutal.
stay tuned for that episode, because I think that's going to be really interesting too.
If you can't tell, I'm sweating a ton.
I know.
And I shouldn't be.
And my stomach is growling so much right now that I can hear it over like your guys' audible voices. So let's get involved with what we have for today.
Apple cider vinegar.
I know.
What have you heard?
It's all over Pinterest. I know that.
I hear that the word vinegar comes from the Latin word sour wine.
Which
That's what I know.
makes us
Makes
Latin.
sense.
I feel like it's kind of been like a popular thing for the last couple years, and I see like display things in the grocery store like this is the all, it's like the snake oil of 2017-18. But I've actually partaken in it because I listened to Pinterest and I tried it, and there was like 27 like things it was supposed to do, and I think my husband does it regularly for digestion. So
My husband as well for digestion.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Does it make him feel more full?
No, I think he was kind of jumping on the bandwagon. If it's going to help reduce weight, then he's going to just do it as it can't hurt anything kind of mindset.
Well, and is that true? Before we get into it, are there any ill effects of taking apple cider vinegar?
Yes.
Oh.
Especially in the volumes, in higher volumes. They recommend like 2 to 3 tablespoons a day is kind of the range you want to go with. But yeah, if you have kidney problems, you don't want to. If there's an acetic acid in there, it's one of the benefits we're getting from it. But too much acid and you don't have kidneys, that's one of the things that regulates your acid-base balance. And so if that's not working, you could make yourself too acidic.
So if you're having maybe decreased, maybe if your kidneys aren't, operating normal, so it would be bad. Maybe somebody who's got some diabetic issues and maybe some kidney issues.
Yeah, if you've got kidney problems, you probably shouldn't be drinking it.
Oh.
And your doc would probably let you know that. Because if you've got kidney problems, they're talking about diet control just to keep you off dialysis. So they're probably going to go through that.
What about something simple like somebody that maybe has kidney stones? Would this aggravate the issue?
No.
Okay.
Kidney stones is a different process. But teeth, it is an acid, so it's going to erode your teeth pretty quickly. So
Which is funny because I saw one of the helpful it was like put it on a Q-tip and put it on your teeth to help like an immediate whitening process. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I read another article that was like a dentist don't do that. You just use a nice ADA recommended whitening toothpaste, and it's that's too much of a concentration. You're putting acid on your teeth.
Yeah. Hey, carbonated. No, never mind. I was going to say fluorinated hydroxyapatite is the fluoride that turns in, then helps your teeth whiten. So that would actually be, helping make your teeth white, but it's going to erode your teeth too, and nobody wants meth mouth.
Yeah, that's what the dentist was saying. No, not in that concentration.
Well, and we always say everything in moderation. I don't know where this woman was from, but a 28-year-old woman consumed 8 ounces of apple cider vinegar a day.
Ew, and it's
for
pretty potent.
6 years. She was admitted to the hospital with low potassium levels, abnormalities in blood chemistry, and diagnosed with osteoporosis.
Well, and that's one of the bigger, more life-threatening things is if you do take it in higher volumes, you can lower your potassium level, and that's going to affect your heart rate and give you some
So what if
problems.
you take a medication that...
So if you're taking medications like, water pills for CHF,
spironolactone or something like
like
that.
Lasix or, HCTZ, something like that, where you're going to, reduce your potassium levels in general, you take that too, it's going to make it worse. So they'll say if you're on these medications, don't be doing the apple cider vinegar. But with that, there are some health benefits with it. My personal opinion is all of the health benefits you get from this, you can get other places a whole lot easier. But there are some things that do help.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a similar stance to you. The claims that I found, even on Pinterest, I felt like, and I discussed this with April already, is it really the apple cider vinegar, or is it that someone's making a conscious effort to highlight something? So, for instance, like the digestion. Is the apple cider vinegar mixed with an increased fluid intake, and maybe they're now paying attention to that, so maybe they're foregoing some of the trigger food. Do you know what I mean? Like, is it just that, or is it paired with changing in behavior, diet, whatever else it is, and is it really the wonder?
Well, one of the things just with diet and weight loss, one of the conclusions to one of the studies on the weight loss was it helps you feel more full, so then you would eat less.
But is it the apple cider vinegar, or is it the increase in fluids?
Well,
because they always tell you to drink a glass of water before you eat.
Well, and it could be because you couldn't factor out a cause and effect for that. One of the problems too with the studies on the weight loss that everybody says, oh, it helps with weight loss, is the studies they used also were calorie restrictive diets.
Right.
So they would take apple cider vinegar, they would reduce their calorie intake by like 250 calories a day, plus they'd also exercise. So was it the calorie intake? Was it the
So there was a study that just proved what I just said.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, but part of that was the people who everybody lost weight in this study, and the placebo group lost less weight than the group who took the apple cider vinegar. So the conclusion was it wasn't really the vinegar itself, but they just felt more full, and part of those people complained of nausea, and so they were less hungry. So was it the making them nauseous so they're not hungry? Who knows?
And you've never tried it, correct?
I have never taken apple cider vinegar.
Should we do that?
Well, sure, let's do it. Well, and there's, so what are the other claims you've heard? Like weight loss was one, but you can't really.
Weight loss, I've heard that it's good for skin, like, acne.
That would be very true.
Oh, really?
Well, look at Cetaphil, right? For your face cleaner.
Yeah.
Acetic acid is one of the components. Is it?
It's a lot.
Well, April and I were saying,
like a shot glass.
April and I were saying that we both have tasted it before, and that you can mix it with water, and sometimes people add other items in there as well, cinnamon, manuka honey, things like that. I've done it with water, and I don't prefer like my entire large glass of water to be ruined with it, but I don't mind. It's like cranberry juice to me. Like, it's sour, it's kind of bitter. Like, I'll chug it real quick, but that's a lot. Like, I think I was
just going like a shot of
burns from this as well.
Oh yeah, it's an acid, right?
It's gonna aggravate my ghost pepper injury. Like, I'll be laying on the ground.
Well, yeah, so the main components that everybody, all of these things that everybody's claiming comes from three things in it. One is going to be the acetic acid. The other is going to be, and that's acetic acid is present in all vinegars, not just apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
In somewhere between like 5 and 20%. That's actually how you make vinegar. You take some sugars, you add a bacteria called acetobacter, and it will turn those alcohol that's in the vinegar into acetic acid, and then what's left over is you got a little bit of bacteria and maybe some yeast in there. Or in apple cider vinegar, it's the yeast, and then that's called the mother that's in there, which I have no idea why. But acetic acid in general can be good for you in several ways. It's an antioxidant, so it will actually, everybody gets oxidative stress from things, and everybody knows if you can reduce oxidative stress, you've got lower chances of long term anyway if you're taking this in, not just like a one time, but you got lower chance of cancers, less chance of heart disease, diabetes, all of these oxidative stress problems, early aging, that sort of thing, because acetic acid will actually turn lactate and acetate into carbon dioxide and water. So everybody knows lactate's a byproduct of just muscle metabolism when you're working out or when you're going throughout the day, but it is an acid. You got to get rid of it somehow. Well, the acetobacter will is that bacteria that helps take lactate and acetate and turn it into CO2 and water that you can pee off and breathe off.
So we talked about, I just had that severe muscle soreness recently, and I thought it was attributed to my diet, the change in my diet. Would this have helped, or would this help prevent that for me?
That will help, yes, because it's going to be your lactate and probably some pyruvic acid. There's some, a few different acids, but lactic acid is one of those after you work out, and so it would help, get rid of that.
I just find it interesting that I was complaining to you about how severe my muscle soreness was, and this bottle was literally on the counter right next to me, and you didn't recommend it, privately.
Right, exactly what went through my mind.
The magic pill was right there, and you didn't even share that knowledge.
Well, here's the problem. It's not a magic pill, though, because like I said, acetic acid is not just in vinegar. It's everywhere. That acetobacter is that bacteria that's taking sugars and turning it into acetic acid. Well, any sort of fruits, vegetables, plants, this bacteria is going to get on there. So grapes, wine has a ton of acetic acid in it.
Yeah.
And so if you just want to talk numbers, if you eat the whole fruit of an apple, 100 grams, you're going to get about 100 or 200 to 300 milligrams of like polyphenols and that sort of thing, and the acetic acid. But if you take wine, and just 1 8-ounce thing of wine gives you 100. So 2 glasses of wine will give you the exact same of like the whole fruit.
Yeah.
So there's better ways to do it than just vinegar.
However, based upon the diet that I'm on right now, I can't have pretty much any sugar. And so this right here has no carbohydrates, there's no calories, there's basically nothing. Wine, apples, all of that are not.
So you could use this as a
supplement. So there's the magic pill right there that you could have offered me.
All right, we'll start chugging. See how it does. See how that goes.
The global demand for acetic acid is about 10.7 million tons per year, and 1.5 million comes from recycling.
And not very much from vinegar. Actually, it's mostly like industrial processes, like textiles and plastic making and things like that.
So is this the go-to brand, Bragg? It's from Paul C. Bragg, PhD, originator of health stores, life extension specialist, and Patricia Bragg. So they must be a couple. Their picture's on there. That's cute.
Bragging?
No, that's her last name.
That's a dad joke.
Okay.
No, actually,
the USDA recognizes them organic. I feel like this is the one that is like always on the display. Like this is the go-to.
Somebody I know uses this in salad dressing making, and so it just happened to be on my counter this morning. I'm like, I could use that today, and so I took it.
Well, and I know that it's used a lot for food preservation, you know, like canning and things like that, so I just didn't know what was different about this brand versus...
I have no idea about the brands because all vinegars are pretty much the same. You've got these, vinegars are just acetic acid and water, mainly. Apple cider vinegar, you get those extra. You get some polyphenols in there, and you get vitamin B's and C's because it's the sugars from the apples that's turning into alcohol.
This is everything. This is gluten free. It's made from organic apples. Yeah, it's kosher, non-GMO.
I think it's popular because it has the organic label, and that's pretty big right now with a lot of people.
Well, and it's just that if you took pear cider vinegar, it'd be the same thing. Because you're getting the polyphenols that are antioxidants, and then you're getting the vitamin B's and C's that you would get from the fruit to begin with.
This one pears are just hard to grow.
Apples are better.
That's what's happened to me. Apples are way easier.
Or wine. How about just wine? I'm the wine guy, so I would love to just drink wine instead of this.
And it completely replaces the need for this. Wine does.
Yes. Well, it does the same thing for you. And everybody knows a wine a day kind of helps with those flavonols and the polyphenols that are antioxidants.
Would non-alcoholic wine work?
Actually, probably not because, unfortunately,
he's got a study to prove this.
Well, no. I mean, just think about how it's made, right? How the acetic acid is made. You take this acetobacteria, and it is digesting alcohol. and in the presence of oxygen, it makes acetic acid, and it's the alcohol that it's breaking down. So if you don't have any alcohol, that bacteria is not going to make the acetic acid.
Darn.
Which is probably why it tastes so horrible.
It does.
I think we need to.
I can't drink. Ugh, I can't even smell this stuff.
1 minute.
Did we get a? We should have got a chaser.
Sorry.
No, that's what makes us tough.
Oh God.
Just do it.
This is
All right.
like
Ready?
I can't do
Cheers.
To apple
I'm
cider
gonna
vinegar.
throw up.
Don't throw up.
Stand
All right.
by.
He's bringing the non-approved cup. Scott, seriously.
It's pretty gross.
It's not awesome.
You didn't even take your whole shot.
He's a quitter. He's a quitter.
You guys are underestimating the amount of food I've been eating lately.
That has nothing to do with.
And you're
That has
I'm
underestimating.
sure
everything
if
to
we
do with
put a
it.
glass of wine in front of you, you'd be able to take it
Oh,
out.
like a
And
champ.
you're underestimating the negative calorie content of my stomach right now with a recent burn from a ghost pepper, and I sucked that thing down. So this is why you got stuck in the
You
bad
guys are
cold
better
water.
men than me. That's what I've just
This
found out
is
here.
why you got stuck in the cold bad of water. Because you were most likely to suffer.
I am not much of a vinegar guy to begin with. I don't like
Yeah.
vinaigrette
Oh,
salad
see, I love
dressing.
it.
I do too.
Like same with the cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Like that's right up my alley. I don't like sugary sweet stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and when you do the eggs for like Easter eggs, and you have to dip it in
Oh, I love
vinegar,
that
so
smell.
I hate that.
Well, if I would have known that, I would say that's probably not going to be fun for you.
No, it was not fun for me.
So you would rather have the cup with it in there, and you'd rather sip on it for.
I would probably like to mix it with some water it down. Yeah.
I don't.
No, I just
Blah.
rather get it over with.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, we talked about. Let's see, it's good for.
I use vinegar a lot with cleaning. Like,
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Like your own natural cleaning?
Well, and I think they're studying it a lot for its antibacterial properties. It's an acid. So we've talked about in our honey episode, the acid content of the honey is helping you with antibacterial stuff. So, with all the antibacterial resistance that's out there, you don't want to give antibiotics. So is there other things we can use? And acids are one of those things.
Yeah.
And so one of the ways you can help clean your food, right? So there was one study that said, if you want to take your lettuce and clean your lettuce, everybody knows that gets recalled like every other day because there's some sort of, thing on there that's going to hurt you. But if you wash it in some, apple cider vinegar, maybe add some lemon in there, after about 15 minutes, all the bacteria is gone and you're good to go. It's nice and clean. So.
Apple cider vinegar was used in the American Civil War and as late as World War I for the vinegar's natural antiseptic. It was used for cleaning and disinfecting wounds of
Wouldn't that hurt?
soldiers.
It's gotta hurt.
I would think that hurts a
Yeah.
lot, but probably a lot less than amputation without any, pain medicine.
Ugh.
Here, bite on this stick while I cut your leg off.
Ugh.
Pour this vinegar over it.
Oh, yeah, maybe it takes your mind off of the surgery at hand.
But yeah, no, so it's very antibacterial because of that acidic nature of it. Bacteria need those pHs above 4 to 4.5 to survive, so acids will help, kill them. Awesome.
Yeah. So overall, you're saying that there are benefits. If people wanted to incorporate this into their normal routine, they would probably see some health benefits.
Yeah, you would see some help, but in my mind, there's other ways you can do that. Coffees and teas have acetic acid in it. Wine has the polyphenols and the flavonoids that's what have in it. Some of the vitamins that you get, you can take a multivitamin in a day and be
But
just
it
fine.
sounds like you're suggesting that you would need to do coffee and wine and vitamins to get the same effects.
Sounds like my daily routine. I don't know what the problem is,
Well, I drink a lot of coffee. I drink wine occasionally. I'm okay with taking vitamins, but I'm thinking that maybe
One shot, once a day, you knock out all three of those.
It is a good alternative for all that stuff, yes.
nice.
But it wouldn't, it's not going to cure cancer, right? I think that's out there because there was a study that came out that said it killed cancer cells. The problem with that one was it was in a petri dish.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's just like the cranberry juice for UTIs. Sure, it works in a petri dish, but not in the body because you
Right.
can't directly put it on the cancer cell or whatever. You got to drink it and,
Yeah.
either way, it's not going to get straight to the cancer. So there's nothing in shows does anything for cancer. If you do drink it, there is a reduction in your chance of getting esophageal cancer, but it's not going to cure any cancers. But then again, if you take acetic acid and other forms, you're going to get that same protection as well. So
Gotcha.
it's a good alternative, and it does do those things. But in my mind, this is 2018. We've got other options.
Yeah, and maybe one other thing that I would point out is that it's not really harmful if it doesn't go against any medications you're taking, any physical ailments that you have, and you do it in
Moderate doses.
Moderate.
2 tablespoons a day, I think, is what they recommend. So
Yeah.
not very much. So less than what we did, I'm guessing.
1 to 2.
Yeah. That
Probably
felt
what
like-
I did, not what you guys.
Well, what you
did.
didn't
You
finish,
probably
maybe.
won.
It's still like I can still taste it. It's in the back of my
Yeah.
throat. I do not like it.
Well, and if that's just not your taste, then that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I found an interesting fun fact about the Golden Delicious apple was the genome uncovered 57,000 genes in the Golden Delicious. That's like twice as many as humans. We have about 20 to 25,000 genes.
Wow,
That's
apples.
crazy.
I know.
Oh,
Complex. See, better than pears. I'm telling you.
it's the magical fruit. No, that's
It does.
beans.
It sometimes
That's beans.
makes me too.
Oh, jeez.
They make me burp actually, and I hate burping.
Yeah.
Apples do?
Yes.
Weird. Probably the. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah. I don't know.
There was what's in apple seeds? It's not cyanide.
Yeah.
Is it cyanide?
Yeah, I think it's cyanide. Yeah.
And I remember I was reading that, I think we can call him out by name now because he's kind of a charlatan in my mind. Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
He's horrible. But one of the things I was reading, somewhere in my rabbit trail of reading for this, like he had an episode where he said we need to ban apple seeds because they're cyanide. And then I was like, do you know how many apple seeds you have to eat to even come close? You're
Right.
like eating gallons of that stuff. Who eats that many apple seeds?
Yeah, and I remember hearing
Ridiculous.
that same thing, and I was a little concerned because I had been educated. I think I've showed this to you about 4 or 5 years ago, where somebody talks about how much waste there is with the apple and the way that we all generally eat. So having the core ends and then eating around, and then everyone thinks like the center is so gross. But if you eat an apple from one end or the other, so kind of removing the stem and the the end piece there, and eating it from the top down, you don't actually notice the core. And I didn't believe it, but I did it, and it was true. And like the only waste are the seeds, and I guess people could technically eat them and not even notice them.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you go all the way through, and you're like, oh, I literally can eat the whole apple with no waste. But then I was like, oh, but what about the cyanide? And then I Googled it, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
When I was
stupid.
little, I heard that, eating the entire apple is good for you. So when I was little, I tried it a couple times, and I was like, okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so disappointed in Dr. Oz because he says that stuff all the time, and the same thing like with aspartame, and he's like, "Don't do that because it, it has the formaldehyde," and I'm like, "Yeah, but in the same safety margins that if you drank water, you would die first."
Well,
You
and
know?
isn't there a new thing coming out about soda water? There's something in soda water similar to like what aspartame. Like there's the natural flavorings.
Like just carbonated water. Oh,
Carbonated watering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's
Oh, and
probably
the
the same
LaCroix.
as the aspartame. Like you have to have large amounts of it. to
well,
make
and
a
that's
difference.
and I can't remember the specific compound, but they're talking about because it was the LaCroix thing.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes,
I saw that.
and,
That's the
um,
article I saw.
Yeah.
And they're talking about because LaCroix is using like fruit extracts, but LaCroix was like, well, yeah, but it's coming from fruit. If you ate the fruit, you'd have the same problem. So what's the big deal? Why
Right.
are
Yeah.
we talking about this?
You
We'll see how that
can't win.
goes.
You can't win. So
Dr. Oz, stop it.
I've never really given him the time of day
Me
anyway.
neither.
So
Yeah.
not a big
Well-
didn't he start like on Oprah? Wasn't that the original he
Well,
was kind of like her guest, and then
not
he
sure.
like blew up from there.
Well, you might like it. I saw too the other day. He tweeted, and then it came out. Sawbones I was listening to.
Yeah.
And they were talking about. He tweeted this astrology and medicine
Yeah.
and how it could be good, and then took it down like the same day because
Saw-
I think he got some
Sawbones
yeah.
ripped on him.
No, everybody ripped on him.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, what are you doing? You can't
Oh.
say that. That's not true.
No,
Um,
that's funny.
But no, so Sawbones did a astrology and medicine episode.
Oh, they did. I
Yeah.
have to listen to that.
Yeah, it was
I have to
kinda-
listen to their.
They were
one on,
very
like,
politically correct, but they went off on Dr. Oz. They did not like him at all. It was
I like
great.
them.
Great.
Oh, that's good. Well, good. So overall, you're saying there are medical benefits to apple cider vinegar, which is good because I feel like a lot of times we're like, myth, like this is garbage. So you are saying there's benefits to apple cider vinegar.
There are some.
As well as other items that would produce the same benefits. But somebody taking a daily dose of it is not a harmful thing.
No, as long as you don't have kidney problems and you brush your teeth afterwards and, that sort of thing.
Oh, well, good.
You're not drinking a cup a day.
Yeah, and you don't have acid reflux. It's going to make that worse, obviously, because it's the acid in there.
Yeah, that's true. So, well, good.
Yay.
Well, if you liked what you heard or saw today, please check us out on YouTube or a podcast.
Or visit our website, medicalconfessions.com.